Hey guys, this is Ed, Paul, and Anna of Curb Media, and we are here to tell you a little bit more about our sponsor.
Sportsball is a great subscription service geared towards minor league baseball fans. Each box features a different minor league team.
You get a box every 3 months with minor league baseball gear, including different styles of hats like Ed's favorite, the dad hat. The cost is less than $12 a month.
Proceeds from each box goes to More Than Baseball, the only nonprofit dedicated to the well-being of minor league baseball players.
We all know that Parents' Days are coming up this summer, so if you've got a mom or a dad or a grandma or a grandpa who are particularly difficult to buy for, but you know they're baseball fans, this is the answer, guys.
Meet your new favorite team at sportsballbox.com.
Is there anybody there?
A lot of people that do minor league sports, they work for 2 years and they either it's too hard or they don't understand why, they're not moving up or left or right. But honestly, those guys that have very healthy careers all through these leagues, and there's nothing wrong with that.
What's up, Dad Hat crew? Ed here. And on this episode, I give you guys Steven Shotola of the Jacksonville Sharks. Wait, he's no longer there. He's with another team. Anyways, I digress. When we had this conversation, he was with the Jacksonville Sharks. He is now with another team. Pretty cool story. You guys got to listen to it. So without further ado, guys, I give you the episode. All right. Well, I want to welcome you guys to yet another episode of the Data Chronicles. My name is Ed, and with me today, guys, I have Steven Shotola. He is the director of multimedia for the Jacksonville Sharks of the National Arena League. That's right, guys. We are going football today, arena football. Steven, how are you today, my friend?
Doing good. Like I said earlier, working remote looks pretty good when you live in Florida. I'm in St. Augustine. I live in St. Augustine, but I'm pretty much near downtown St. Augustine right now, just at lunch. And here's my view. So you guys can see.
Horrible view, guys. Bunch of boats, nothing but little docks.
North Carolina view. But that's my lunch view. I'm at Hurricane Patty's in just outside of downtown St. Augustine. So.
Rough life, my friend. Rough life. All right, so let's get into a little bit about you first. Let's start with you. Growing up, you become a fan of sports. How that happened for you, man?
Yeah. So I grew up in South Florida, like born and raised a Miami Dolphin fan. I got to grow up in the 90s when the Miami Hurricanes were the best team in college football, undisputed. And so I was surrounded by sports. I played like every sport. I was part of that generational push where every kid played every sport year round, so I was in baseball, football, soccer, you name it. And basketball for years and stuff like that. So it was just one of those things where I was just surrounded by it. Mm-hmm. And as my life progressed, different sports were thrown my way. For example, like I think the first sport I ever played was like t-ball or soccer or whatever. And then when I got older, all my friends either liked football or basketball.
That's how it goes.
I lived in a minor league baseball town, Port St. Lucie. So about middle school, I was like really, really heavy into football, was really good at it, tight end receiver. And then right around like high school, I made the JV team, but I was this 5 foot, really, for that was pretty tall, skinny kid. And they're like, you should be playing basketball, man. And obviously in like PE and stuff, I'd be playing basketball, I'd be shooting threes. And the guy goes, why are you trying to play football? And I'm like, I've been playing football for the last 4 years, Pop Warner, everything like that. And they're like, you're left-handed. Tell me how many positions in football where being left-handed is a benefit, but we could really use a left-handed shooter, and so I went straight into basketball mode all through high school. And I thought basketball was going to be my whole life, but playing in a really competitive market in South Florida with, Miami right there, West Palm, it's pretty tough. I mean, I did pretty well, like individually as a basketball player. Like I got to be in 3-point contests and stuff like that, but I didn't see playing college basketball as like a reality for me. So I got really into like film and television. And so about my senior year of high school, they're like, what are you going to do? What are you going to go to school? What are you going to study? And I'm like, I want to write scripts for TV shows and movies, They're like, well, my creative writing teacher went to UCF and was like, they got a new film program at UCF. So that was like my goal. And then as I just kind of pursued it, looking at schools and everything like that, one of the schools I applied, at that time, Florida didn't really have a lot of film or TV schools. And so I ended up just applying to pretty much every film school that was in Florida, and JU was one of them, Jacksonville University. And they were one of the first ones that actually showed interest in me and like invited me on campus, did a whole tour, wanted to see my portfolio, my work. And then right there on the spot, they offered me a scholarship.
Oh, no way.
It's a new major at the school. They want to get kids to come here for film, study film all 4 years. We're not going to wait till you're a junior or senior to put a camera in your hand. You're going to get, full into it. Like we're going to be very progressive. So anyways, I got deferred by UCF. I didn't want to do the community college route. So JU it was, which put me in the backyard of the Jaguars. And so it wasn't too long before they found me as like a video. I was working part-time in college as a video editor for them. And I got to really see how sports could be a real career option.
Nice. Good for you, man. So Jacksonville University, they're like, yeah, dude, come on, let's go. Get in, let's go. Let's get working on this right now. We don't need to be wasting no time.
Exactly. And then right after college, I did like a film production internship, and I was applying for jobs like crazy, starving artist in New York City. And one of the industries that would actually call and interview me was not TV, was not film, was not radio. It was sports teams. And so maybe it was just the time of year or whatever it was. The New York Jets basically sat me down for one interview and hired me on the spot. A lot like JU with the scholarship, just right there. Like, you ready to go? We need a videographer and a multimedia editor for the season. And it was like that right place at the right time. It was July. They're about to do training camp. And so I worked for the Jets for a season and then made my way back down to Jacksonville. And I worked with PRI Productions, which is like the main event production company for the Jaguars. Did 2 years there, looking for more jobs in sports because that was more like live entertainment, concerts, things like that. And the Jacksonville Sharks found me just being in the area. And they're like, hey, we saw that you've worked in football. Are you good at social media? Can you do video and news and things like that? I'm like, I'll give it a shot. Did that for 6 years. And then I sadly, I just put in my 2 weeks last week. I got a full-time job offer with the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I'll be starting in November with them.
Good for you, man.
Yep. So in industry terms, I got called up.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I get that's what it is, right? Like, I mean, whatever, you got to do your work, you got to put in the work, and eventually things pay off, man.
Yeah. And being in the right place at the right time, making a lot of connections,
Mm-hmm.
it helped a lot. When I was getting interviewed with the Jaguars, because they knew I'd been with the Sharks for a long time, I had made so many connections because Jacksonville is a big city, but it's a small, like, sports world. Like, everybody, you could be working Sharks, Jaguars, Jumbo Shrimp. You're going to see people between those networks, between TV, production, things like that. Yep. And so, I just, as I was getting interviewed and walking from the lobby to my boss's office, I had about 2 or 3 people come up and say hi to me because they just knew me. They're like, are you sure you don't work full time here already? I'm like, no, just game days, man.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, for now, since you are still with the Sharks, let's talk a little bit about the Sharks, right? Like, I mean, from some of the research that I've done, right? They used to be part of the Arena Football League. They started in 2010, 2016. They were like, you know what? We out, let's go. And hello, National Arena League. So why would someone like a casual fan like myself would want to watch, arena football?
Yeah, well, I guess the best way to explain it, and when I'm trying to explain like arena football compared to like the NFL, we have all the traditional football things that people love. We got big time players from big schools. We just signed a player from Alabama last week. We've had players from Florida State. And so we have those big name appeals right here in your backyard where you can see big time college football players play. We've also had former NFL players play in our league and guys that are like me that, start off at the arena football level and move up throughout the industry. So that applies for staff as it does players. Mm-hmm. And so we have all the lure of traditional football, but we're high scoring like basketball.
Yep.
So you're not going to go to an arena football game and the final score is 7-10.
Oh, no. Yeah, you're not going to find those low scoring games. It's very hard.
Happen. We're in the 60s, 70s, 80s. I mean, I've seen not often, but I've seen arena football games go up into the 80s and 90s before. And it's not rare for a game to be 62-60, Yeah. And it's smaller field, so it's more tight packed, more hard hitting. So it'll attract your hockey fans. Mm-hmm. And then it also has the allure of like the charm of minor league baseball. What I mean by that is not the sport, but everything that comes around arena football. We're in a comfortable environment. We're playing your mom and pop kind of fun party music. We got really fun, crazy on-field games, crazy theme nights that NFL teams would not dare to do, mm-hmm. Or are not allowed to do. And so we just have that, minor league appeal, but major league names. We're a fast paced game. We're a high scoring sport. And so if you're tired of just watching NFL football, give arena football a chance, because we have a lot of fans that will come over and just be like, this is way more exciting. My kids love it. And again, we're not, burning hot out in the sun, at 90 degrees.
That's right. It's true.
We're indoors, we're comfortable for all fans. We can please your older crowd and your younger crowd. So I think it's a pretty cool thing. If you've never been to an arena football game, give it a try. If you're in North Carolina, there's so many teams. Our league alone has 2. And then there's other arena football teams that are in that state as well. So it's actually North Carolina is becoming sort of a destination for arena football, at least from recruiting and for the sport itself.
Well, yeah, and then just got the Fayetteville Mustangs, which is a brand new team coming up into the Carolina Cobra. So I mean, there's there's going to be some 2 teams here, which I'm very excited about. I remember, when the Jacksonville team was with the Arena Football League, I was in Cleveland. And I was watching, I have been to a couple of games for the Cleveland Gladiators when they were still around, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's exciting, it's fun, it's hard hitting, and it's like you said, it's like, it's high scoring, but it's always something going on. It's not, it's not like it's just like a lot of dead time in between plays.
Yeah. And like I said, one of the biggest draws to our game too is theme nights. We'll have 1,000 fans come just because it's Star Wars night. They won't go to any other game, but because it's Star Wars night. Or we have fans that'll come just because the Sharks been around a while. If we have like alumni night and things like that, where they just want to see that one player that they remember from way back in the day. And also the ability to be close to the fans, where they're able to just, go down onto the field after every Shark home game and get to actually meet their favorite player or their favorite coach or whoever it is, or their favorite cheerleader. We give fans that access that other leagues that, in football just don't do.
Yeah. That's cool. I love it. So tell me a little bit about this National Arena League, because it's, it's a different kind of league, right? It's not the indoor football league, is not the arena football league, but it's a different one. It is very regional to where you guys are at, including the Predators. And like we were just talking about the other teams. What if when you are talking about this league, what if attracted the Jacksonville Sharks to this?
So it was actually sort of out of necessity at first, because we were in the Arena Football League when I first worked for the Sharks, but the league was making a turn that was not suitable for a lot of the teams in the league financially. It just wasn't fair. And to be honest with you, one of the biggest issues was a lot of the teams that were leaving our league because they either folded or whatever, the cost and a lot of the cleaning up was being put on the team's shoulders instead of the league's shoulders, which wasn't fair to a lot of teams. And so the Jacksonville Sharks decided to join this new league, the National Arena League, and one of our competitors, the Arizona Rattlers, they pretty much did the same thing, but with the IFL.
Yep.
And so we just decided, we don't have to be in this league. We're sustainable as a team as it is. We just need a league to play in that fits more of what we're looking for, which is more of an equal partnership across the boards between the teams in the league that oversees, each season. And so it was a great decision by the Sharks. We were still around. We've been around for over 10 years and have really grown a lot. Even with the National Arena League, we've won 2 championships, and we've got to watch the league grow from 2017 till now. And it's nice to be one of the premier teams in our league and one of the bigger markets in our league, where in the AFL we had LA, New Jersey, Cleveland, and bigger, some bigger markets. Now the Sharks, we're kind of the place to be, which helps us for recruiting, but then also helps us as to be like sort of a model team for the rest of the teams in our league.
Do you think that, in your opinion, the fact that there's multiple leagues that is good for the sport, good for the brand, compared to just having one league that controls everything?
I think it's a huge advantage, and I'll tell you why. One, there's a lot of talent out there, from athletes to staff. If there's a guy that gets cut from our league, there's other places for him to go. He doesn't have to retire, And so I think even in the higher levels now with the NFL and the XFL, I think that's great. I think it's great to keep these young guys still working and still keep them employed in the sport, because it gives a lot of opportunity, because you never know. You may even have a coach that may not have got an NFL offer, but a couple of years in some of these leagues, then he becomes a coordinator, he moves somewhere else, and then ends up winning a Super Bowl one day. And so you never know. It's opportunity is the biggest thing that more leagues provide. If you limit yourself to one league and maybe 10 teams, there's so many markets out there that could afford these players that might be riding your bench, or they're practice squad guys, or they got cut in training camp. You know, you got to let these guys have a chance. And look at me, you know, I was looking for NFL. I was working with the New York Jets to working in the NFL. The Sharks gave me an opportunity to continue to work in football and get better. I am 10 times better than I was at 20 that I am now at, now that I am at 30, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've learned so much, and arena football gives you a little more access to do more at that level, so that you get to see what you're really good at, what you need to improve on. It's a great way to kind of prove yourself or train yourself for that next level.
I was just going to say that because I look at arena football league as minor league baseball or any kind of minor league sports, because your title says director of multimedia, but like, you are doing 1,000 other things during game time and during the week to get to that game on whatever the day is, right?
Exactly. 100%. Yeah. It's a balancing act. It's a great balancing act. And that's one of the things too, I was joking about with some of my colleagues, is I did so many things with the Sharks throughout my career that I'm so grateful for, that I learned. Going into this new position with the Jags, it's going to be more of a solitary role. I'll still be doing a lot of things, but it's more focused on one part of the industry, where I was doing so many other things where they were saying it might actually be a relief, or it might actually be easier, because now instead of going left, right, up, down, left, you just need to focus on going up, or one day, or
right,
being right. You know what I mean? It's like being a football player and I had to play offense, defense, special teams. Hey man, we're just going to sign you to play receiver and be the best receiver you can be.
Let me ask you about that, Brett, because now you say you're, in 2 weeks, you're going to be going to the Jackson.
November 3rd. Yeah.
What will you be doing with them?
So I'll be working in event technology and production.
Oh, wow.
It's year round. Obviously I'll be heavily involved on game days, home and on the road. In fact, I'm sure the Jaguars travel to London once a year.
Yep.
If I got hired 2 weeks sooner, my boss told me yesterday at the Jaguar game, he's like, you'd be going on the plane tomorrow to London, because the Jaguars treat London as a week-long thing. Like, they go out there Monday and they're there all the way till the next, Sunday. So,
interesting.
To break it down a little more, like what I'd be doing on the road is making sure that video, audio, and radio is all working for the team, both, from the hotel all the way to the stadium, and making sure that, like, Tony Baselli, who's the host of our traveling road show, Rate for Radio, that his stream is working, that audio, he sounds good, looks good, and everything's working. And then during the weeks, my job is to make sure all the events that are happening in the stadium, Daly's Place, which is our amphitheater, where we have concerts, pro wrestling, and events, our new practice facility that we're building. And then there's a lot more projects that are coming 2025 and on that I'll be very involved in too. So anything from event maintenance on technology to running production for a show or event, to running around on game day, figuring out why that camera is not working, like that. So.
It's the name of the game. Good for you, man. Exactly. I'm happy for you that you're going to be doing something still in football, right? But now you're just, like you said, you just got called up to the big, right? Yep. And now you're about to work for, an NFL team that not a lot of people get an opportunity to do so.
No, it's very hard to move up, to be honest. And it takes a lot of perseverance. I've been working with the Sharks for 6 seasons now. A lot of people that do minor league sports, they work for 2 years and they either it's too hard or they don't understand why, they're not moving up or left or right. But honestly, there's guys that have very healthy careers all through these leagues, and there's nothing wrong with that. Me being 30 with 3 kids, I wanted to, step up my career and be able to provide for them at a higher level, and get the opportunity to work at a higher level. And, the good thing about the Jaguars too, is I don't have to relocate my family, across the country. There's a lot of people, our head coach of the Sharks calls them football gypsies. That's very normal in our industry for a guy to go 2 years here, 1 year here, 3 years here, from players to staff to especially coaches, because a lot of them, you work for the team, but you got hired by the head coach. And so where he goes, you go. and you could be in Texas one year to Washington, the state of Washington, to Illinois, to New York, and it's like you've been with 3 teams in 5 years, man. It's a tough life. So I'm happy.
It really is.
I did get opportunities to interview with other NFL teams, but they all required me to relocate. The closest this year was Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I got interviewed with an associate producer position. I finished as a finalist, but didn't get the job. But I've had teams like Detroit where I was really excited. Did 3 or 4 interviews, and it was looking like I was talking to my wife, we might have to move to Michigan, and that's hard to do. Not even for me to relocate, but to move my entire family on the opportunity that this might go well.
Yeah. And then you never know if it works out, right? I mean, listen, I get it.
Right.
My wife and I and our daughter, we moved from Ohio to North Carolina now where we're at. And it was one of those things. It was the scariest thing we ever did, right? Like, I mean, we just had to sell our house.
There's a lot of what ifs.
Yeah, absolutely. And you don't know if it's going to work out. You don't know what's going to happen. And for you, you got an opportunity to work and stay in your area. That's huge.
I'll tell you, the things when you're a parent, it's like, well, are the schools still going to be good? Are we going to be able to have the same sort of style of living, the housing market, things like that? So it gets really scary. And then it's like, I just spent like 3 hours debating and researching. I'm not even looking at the job. I'm looking at everything that surrounds the job. You know what I mean? And so that's scary. So it was an easy move to stay in Jacksonville, get to work for a team that I'm familiar with, a building that I'm familiar with, a team, so it was a very comfortable move, and we're very fortunate.
Yeah. Good for you. Good for you. And you know what? And I think that's like, like you said, Jacksonville Sharks is one of those teams, just like, the Arizona Rattlers or any other team, right? That you build your career there. And then eventually, if it does work out, if all the stars align, right, you get to move up, or you know what? And there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I did my time here. I'm going to go do something else in a different industry because of what this has helped me to do with everything else.
Exactly. It's the ultimate proving ground, I think. It really is. I think even to the extent beyond college, because a lot of college athletes now, they're only playing like 3 years, and that's it. And it's like they get judged off that 3 years because high school's gone. And then all of a sudden you see these guys that were so great in college that only had 3 years of experience, and then they're blowing it in the pros, and then they get let go from their teams. And it's just like, what happened to him? It's like, man, if he just would have got maybe 1 or 2 more years, you could have really seen the difference. The Geno Smiths of the world that everybody thinks is garbage, and now he's proven himself, in a different team. Sometimes arena football is a great place to fall back, regroup, really prove what I'm really good at. Maybe it's your position. Like maybe I can play linebacker. Maybe I'm actually really good at a different role, a fullback or whatever. And so sometimes arena football is a great way where you can play 5 years in arena football and still get a chance somewhere. Maybe not the NFL, but maybe the XFL, or you get to yourself to an NFL training camp. We've had guys that have been really fortunate, gotten opportunities at the XFL. The Sharks last year alone, we've already signed 2 guys that moved up to other leagues, the USFL. We've had guys that had XFL workouts. And so you never know. The Sharks are a great place if there's players out there looking for a team that may have really a great college career or just coming off their pro career in the NFL and looking for a home. The Sharks are a great place to, prove yourself, put yourself on tape, but then also get to play in a big arena environment with a lot of fans.
I was just going to say that, like, and that's, you still get to play, right? You're still playing at a high level. It's not like, your typical NFL or USFL or XFL, right? Because it's a wider, bigger arena. But this time, hey, listen, at least you're getting out there, you're playing every day, and you're putting your skills out on tape so other people can watch you.
Exactly. And then even within our league, we have guys in training camp lining up against each other that might play each other in the championship, because the guy across from him who used to play in the NFL is going to get cut, but he's probably going to play for another team in our league. The Sharks especially, and our coach will laugh, a lot of people poach Sharks players. We've had guys that have been really successful here, won championships, and now they're stars in other markets. Carolina Cobras, Albany Empire, Orlando Predators. They play here and they're role players with us. And then they end up becoming the best player, star player of their team, getting all arena honors and things like that. It's hard to keep talent in Jacksonville because we are such a spotlight for our sport.
I was just going to say, and you guys have the championships to prove it, right? AFL in 2011 and the NAL, 2017, 2019. You guys came close this year, right? Very close. In 2022, and it just, obviously other things happen and, it didn't go your way, but it's still, like you said, it's a great proving ground, and it speaks volumes to a team when other teams are poaching your players.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely. Because they know we're not getting guys off the street. We're getting guys that are either proven athletes or proven arena football players or both, that can do both. A lot of times, especially in our league, the way our rules are, you get less than a handful of guys that can be specialists. The rest of the players, they got to play both ways. It doesn't matter if you're an extremely good defensive lineman. A lot of times, if you're not the number one defensive lineman, you got to play both ways. So we're looking for guys that can be versatile. And it's crazy how guys, even in arena football, we've had guys, and I know because I went to college with some of them at JU, they play for the Sharks and they're a receiver or whatever. And we have the Washington Commanders looking at him to play special teams. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, as long as you can get that job or that role with that NFL roster, like, go for it,
Heck
it
yeah.
might not be quarterback, but shoot, man, they might need some guy that can hold, you never know. And kickers also have a great opportunity in our sport because we have such a challenging dynamic when it comes to the kicking game. So we've had guys that move up quickly just playing special teams, you never know.
Absolutely. And that's the thing, there's like, because the Arena League, like you said, is such a high scoring game that you are going to need a kicker and you're kicking field goals, you're kicking and the field goal are so much smaller than the regular NFL.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, it's insane. Like, I'm like, oh God.
And you only got a few guys. You don't have a full offensive line like the NFL.
You don't know.
You got a few guys and you better hope the guy in front of you, if need be, can get up and block in a second. You know what I mean? Or you're going to get laid out. Yeah. It's probably one of the cooler parts. The kicking game in our sport, I would say, watching other leagues that play arena football and indoor football, I think the kicking game in our sport is one of the things that draws people, fans and players, because it is so unique with the deuce where you can kick off. What other sport where you actually kick off, you start the game, the other team hasn't even got the ball yet, and you can get 2 points right off the bat by just kicking it through the uprights on kickoff. So it's a game changer, man.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And then, like you said, now you're moving on to the big leagues. But you're still there. So I want to ask, because this is something that's very near and dear to my heart. And obviously you can see behind me, only have a handful of hats. I need to know, does the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Jacksonville Sharks have a dad hat available for sale?
If not, I can send you one. I got plenty. My wife wants me to kind of clean out my closet. So I got some that I probably never even worn. But I can also send you a link too if you see something that you like in particular.
Yes, absolutely. Because I want to make sure that I support you guys, support the team, because that's something that the way I look at, Jacksonville Sharks, I look at other teams in the league is, I want to make sure that we're supporting them by promoting them through podcasts, through social media and things like that, because that's how they grow. Right?
Social media is king for us, more than higher levels, leagues and stuff like that. That's how we get our brand, especially in the off season. That's all we got, not everybody's on, we're not on CBS Sports right now. We're not on ESPN. And so the number one way that we can really advertise our brands, our league, and what we're doing and why you should be excited about us is through social media and stuff that we're doing right now. And I'll tell you what, when I start in November, I'll send you a Jaguar hat too.
Sounds good to me. Let me ask you, we're talking about, and something you said very interesting that caught my attention is the fact that streaming, right? Streaming is the name of the game. You got ESPN Plus, who is like, catching every league possible so they can, get them. Do you see a future in which arena football, the NAL and IFL and all of that, where they're going to be streaming on these platforms like that?
Sooner than you think. We're already having those conversations.
Interesting.
I'll put one out there that's really starving for more sports content is Amazon Prime.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, that is something we're looking into. But then I also have apps myself that I see. Hulu, which used to be a movie TV only pretty much thing, is now wanting to get really into sports, and Peacock and all these other apps. And so, like I said, sooner than you think. But those conversations are already being had, and it's great. Like right now, we stream all of our games on YouTube, and it's great. Our players get on the bus after a away game, and they're all already on YouTube watching it. We want to give fans easy access worldwide where they can watch our sport. But then I do also have an envy for our sport, or an envy when I see ESPN 2 or 3, and this is national global television, and cornhole is on, and actually nothing wrong with those sports, but how is that more entertaining than seeing a guy
arena football
play for the Chicago Bears jump up over a wall, scoring a touchdown with a guy defending him who also played at a really high level. I just think we're more exciting than those sports. We just got to make the right connections, know the right people, but it's very possible. If you go on Amazon Prime right now, you'll actually see some arena football teams have content, documentaries and things on there, but I'd love to get our games on there regularly. And I think that's the next step for us.
That's awesome. I love to hear that. And, you guys are already on YouTube, but like you said, I think elevating that to a different level of like Amazon Prime or Hulu, because you're right, though. Hulu is trying to get in that game. Peacock, right? They used to have NBC Sports. They closed that one down, and then they're going to go into all Peacock, all sports and all that. So that's huge. That's very big. So.
And the time of year we're in too helps, because it's not always about your sport or your entertainment. It's like, when do you play?
Yep.
So we're not going to interfere with the NFL. We're not going to interfere with a lot of different sports markets. We play at a very strategic, and that's why our league plays when we play. We play in a time where national and local TV would want to show, it is available to show content and things like that, opposed to, right around the Super Bowl and things like that, where it's tougher, or even mid-season NFL.
Because you're competing with the big boys at that point.
Exactly. So it would not be, I guess the best way to say it would not be crazy for us to be able to stream or get on TV at a nationwide or global level. And we already did. Like when I worked for the Sharks in the AFL, we were on ESPN1, we were on ESPN2, we were on CBS Sports, Deportes and things like that.
Yep.
So it's possible. It's been done before. Our league just has to, like I said, we're a few steps away from getting to that level, at least from the streaming standpoint, and then hopefully eventually that global market of major network television.
What I also would love to see is the champion of the NAL go against the champion of the Indoor Football League, one game, against each other. I think that'll be awesome as well.
Again, it might be sooner than you think, man.
Oh man, I'm telling you.
I'm not going to give anything away, but I believe in the sport. I'm always going to follow it, even though I'm departing. Well, not even really departing. I'm just moving up. But,
you're just moving down the street.
And just down the street. And that's what I told my colleagues too. You guys know I'm just right down the street. 5:30 if you need me. After hours, I'll come over.
Let's go. Let's have some talk.
And they know I'm going to be at games. My kids. And want to hear something funny? My daughter, my oldest. So she's only known that I've worked in sports really because when she was born, I was working for the Jets. So she's been part of the entire journey compared to my other kids. Mm-hmm. And so I had her like right after I graduated college. And so I asked my daughter, Daddy's perks, you get to be on the Junior Roar, which is the Jaguars cheerleading little youth team or whatever. And they get to perform on the field and all that stuff. And my daughter looked at me, she goes, I'm not doing that. I'm like, why not? She goes, I'm doing Junior Attack. She's on Junior Attack, which is the cheerleaders for the Sharks.
For the Sharks.
She's comfortable. And she said, Dad, like in her mind, she's still a Shark fan. She's always going to be a Shark fan. So are we, she gets it. You know what I mean? It's
That's awesome.
It doesn't matter about being here or here. Did you have fun? Yes. Did you have fun? Yes. That's all that matters.
Doesn't matter. And that's why I like arena football, right? It's because it is family entertainment. It's affordable, and you get to forget about everything else in the world for at least those couple of hours and just enjoy a good game.
Hey, and that's as true to the season ticket holder as it is to the player or the athlete. Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, my friend. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you the same question that I ask everybody. Okay. When you go to a football game, whether it's the Sharks or the Jaguars or even the Jumbo Shrimp, right? Because you're right there.
Baseball. Yep.
What is your food and drink of choice?
It actually is more related to me and my wife with like going to the movies. It's the same food, right?
Yeah, it is.
So my go-to is always popcorn and chicken wings. It sounds gross, but we load up, like we carbo load, because I don't get to go to a lot of sporting events as a fan. But when I go to the theater, and I imagine when I do go to sporting events, I kind of crave the same thing. I'm like, I want wings wherever they have wings. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter like if it's just the stadium or if they have like an outside vendor. And then I got to get popcorn. I got to get my hands on some popcorn. So
there you go. And the good thing about popcorn is
me and my wife at the theater. Yep. We will literally we'll get like a seat in between each other so we can put all of our food there because she's at nachos. She's loves. We will feed off of each other pretty much. She'll get nachos and I'll get popcorn with the what's it called? cookie dough bites or whatever.
Yeah.
Extra butter, everything like that. Wings. She'll get the mozzarella sticks and the nachos. We'll put it all there like a feast. And we don't eat like that Monday through Friday. You know what I mean? But when we
right.
enjoy ourselves and we don't have the kids, we pig out.
I love it. I love it. All right. So what is your spirit animal?
Ooh. A wolf.
Nice. Okay.
That's
Why?
back to like high school. Yeah.
Okay. So it's high school. Okay. You have kids. I have kids. So, and this is my favorite question to ask everybody. What Disney princess do you think will make the best spy?
Make the what? Sorry.
The best spy. Which Disney princess will make the best spy?
Snow White. She has a lot of resources.
That's true.
Yep.
I like it. Okay. So if you were to own one team, which sports team would it be?
Easy. The New York Yankees. They make money even when they lose. And I don't even like the Yankees, but that's just, I want to be rich. I want to have a yacht, I want to,
They do. Hey, listen, they were successful. True story. All right. Worst. Now we're talking about the worst sport. Which we, in your opinion, you think which is the worst sport that would put you to sleep?
That's a really good one, man. Worst sport.
Because listen, let's be honest. There's some bad sports out there. There
really is. I was the first thing I go to, because it's just a sport I don't understand. If you ever watch the Olympics when they have like the thing and they're like scrubbing the ice or whatever.
Oh, dude, curling.
Myself get into it. You know what I mean?
Oh, dude, curling is fun, man.
Like, you don't understand it. I don't think it's easy to like follow, but so I'm not going to say that, because I actually think if I really sat down and really watched it, I probably would actually like it. So just because we touched on it, cornhole. Just because I want it off ESPN2 and I want arena football on ESPN2.
I like it. I like that idea. That idea. Okay, so if you could be any fictional character, which character would you be?
Dang it, bass fishing would have been a good one too, but no, never mind. All right, so which fictional character?
Yes, sir.
Ooh, that's a good one too, man. I wish I studied.
That's it. That's the whole point. You can't study these.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's good. That's good, man. Give me a second. I'm really thinking of it. That's a good question. Jack Sparrow, man. I got the boats here,
Oh yeah, you're right.
Life. I feel like I could adjust to it pretty well. And the guy doesn't really ever seem like anything ever bothers him. He gets in some bad situations, but he's kind of one of those lives life to the fullest characters.
That is true. All right, a couple more here. Favorite TV show growing up?
The Office.
Oh, but that's still a great show, man.
It is. Yeah, no, I still watch it. I've seen my wife probably knows I've seen the entire show from season 1 to the end, like probably now 3 times.
For real?
I like King of the Hill too. It's a weird thing. Like me and my wife, when we were first dating in college, for some reason, and it doesn't make sense because neither of us kind of lived the King of the Hill lifestyle.
Yeah.
But we just were fascinated with King of the Hill characters and Texas. And we have this weird obsession with just watching King of the Hill. It helps us go to sleep.
Yeah,
Not that it's boring, but like we'll binge watch it. And we did it in college. I missed classes because of King of the Hill.
Nice. I used to miss a couple classes because of certain shows here and there. So I get it, my friend. All right, here we go. Last one. Have you ever regifted a gift?
Yes.
Who hasn't?
Yep.
Who hasn't?
That's a good one. Mostly just stuff that I would never use and never take out of the box.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cooking stuff or whatever that I already have a perfectly good thing, or like it's one of those bizarre things where people are just, I think I also, unfortunately, I shouldn't say this, but because my wife or family might know the gift, but I got like a book once I never read, and it was in really good condition, and it wasn't suited for me, but I knew somebody that would like it. And so I regifted that and pretended that like I went to the store and bought it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, good job for you, my friend.
I got to get a gift for the party, and I'm like, let me wrap this really quick. Yeah.
I got this. We're good. Let's put it in a gift bag. We're good. Exactly. We're good.
100%.
Stephen, thank you so much for doing this. This was a lot of fun. Where can people find you, the teams, on social media?
So for the Sharks, at Jack Sharks, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, but just go to our website, You can see everything on there from social media to more about the team. We just released our schedule. So jacksharks.com, that's JAXSHARKS, Jack Sharks. And then, and come to a game. That's the best way to really see what we're about.
Yep, you're right. And the guy that you guys just signed from Alabama, Dominic Jackson, offensive lineman.
Very talented, man. Follow him as well. He's going to be a guy that's going to be one of those dual threat players, I think, offense and defensive line. He's a great example of a guy that played at the college level. I think he's an NFL talent, but maybe just needs a few more years of real experience. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's he played for us before, but I could see him play for us and then move up, to another league, USFL or XFL and things like that. But that's kind of the point of arena football too. We're all about, and you've seen it with me, me moving up as well. But that's what arena football really is. It's to get guys the opportunity to go to the next level.
Yeah, and move up. Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. Again, thank you so much, my friend. And then we'll keep in touch, and then good luck to you and your new endeavors, my friend.
I'm excited, man. We'll stay in touch, and definitely send me your address so I can send those hats, as in plural.
Will do. I hope you guys enjoy that episode with Steven. Make sure you guys are following him now that he's with the Jacksonville Jaguars, not the Sharks, the Jaguars. He just went across the street, guys. Seriously, not that far. Anyways, make sure you guys are following him. Make sure you guys are following the team. Support them. It's still a minor league team, guys. But before I go, a couple of things, just got to get this out, all right? Make sure you guys are also giving the episode 5 stars. Make sure you guys are hitting the follow so that way I go up on the ranking. I go up on the rankings. More people are listening, all right? So, to what we have to do here now is the joke of the episode, and this week was brought to you by Eric Prophet, my very good friend of the Earn for an Average podcast. You guys gotta listen to it. It's a really good podcast, I promise you. All right, very funny. Those guys are hilarious. All right, so here we go. What do you call a cow that jumps offside? Beef jerky. All right, I see myself out. And until then, guys, keep on grinding and always support the minor leagues. See ya.
This podcast is part of the Curved Brim Media Network. Here are some of the other members of Curved Brim Media.
Hi, this is Ed Rivera of the Dad Hat Chronicles. Join me as I interview people just like you and players, coaches, GMs on the path that led you to become a fan of the sport.
I'm Paul Caputo, and on the Baseball by Design podcast, I talk to minor league baseball teams, designers, and other super interesting people about what these minor league baseball logos mean, and I talk a little bit about ice cream helmets.
What's up, Bucketheads? I'm Anna DiTomaso, and each week on the Baseball Bucket List podcast, I speak with a different fan about their favorite baseball memories, what the game means to them, and what's left to check off on their baseball bucket list.
Hey guys, this is Patrick Larson from the Minor League Baseball Hat History Series, and in every episode I go through the history of minor league teams through my personal collection of hats. You can find me on Twitter at PatLarson1. I hope you guys enjoy.
This is Patrick
and Corey
of BaseballMapper.com, and we have made an interactive map to help highlight all baseball teams from the majors down to collegiate summer leagues.
We want to bring you closer to baseball. So get on the site and find a team near you today.
Learn more about Curved Brim Media at curvedbrimmedia.com.